This one came from this is made out
All set? Good evening, welcome to the April 4th Clifton Park Town Board meeting. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Teresa, if you call the roll.
Councilwoman Flood?
Here.
Councilwoman Standard?
Here.
Councilman Morelli?
Here.
Councilwoman Walloway?
Here.
Supervisor Barrett?
Here, entertain a motion to approve town board meeting minutes of March 14th and 21st.
So moved.
Second. Discussion. Okay.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walloway?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes, a couple of quick updates. Our bulk waste pickup service will be commencing in early May. We've had information on the website for weeks now, but if you still have not looked at when your date is and what we can and can't accept, please review that information. You'll also be receiving a reminder in the mail. Everybody will receive a letter a couple of weeks prior to their pickup week starting. The first pickup week will start May 2nd. So that's in the northern part of town. The town has been broken out into 3 sections as we've done in the past. It's worked very well. And those folks that have that first pickup week should be getting a letter 2 weeks before that, so it won't be too much longer. So keep an eye out for that. If you have any questions in the interim and you can't find the information on the website, feel free to give us a call. Also want to remind everybody that the free yard waste pickup program has commenced for another year. It started today. So I know there's quite a bit of material out there right now, as people have had some halfway decent weather to get out there and get their yard work started. So that begins now, and that'll go through November, weather permitting. Any other communications or announcements?
Yes, thank you. The Green Committee was awarded money through the Community Action Fund, and one of the things that we have decided to spend our money on was a new banner for our Habitat for Humanity Restore project that we have down at the transfer station. As we look forward to our bulk waste day coming in May, as the supervisor had mentioned, Habitat for Humanity Restore, our collection bin, is there at the transfer station to collect gently used items for resale to build houses for Habitat. Tomorrow at noon at the transfer station, the Green Committee and we will be revealing our new banner that we purchased through the funds awarded to us by the Community Action Fund. So I know Joanne Coons, our Green Committee member, she has invited everyone on the board. So we hope that everyone will be there tomorrow to celebrate our new banner. And Dan, thank you for working with our Green Committee folks to set everything up, and we really appreciate it. We also have our clean sweep signups still happening. We still have plenty of space. We've got lots of people signed up already, but there's plenty of space throughout town. So please visit cliftonpark.org and scroll down to the bottom, and you can click on the sign-up sheet, and we will help assign locations to you for a park, preserve, trail, or roadway. So thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes, I have a lot of thank yous that I need to shout out for the medical supply drive that we did in the town of Clifton Park last weekend. We collected $10,200, and now we're over that because people are still submitting some Venmos and some checks over to 518ukrainian.com. And we collected 5 truckloads of medical supplies, which they really appreciated. And it couldn't have been done without everybody's help. So I do want to thank the town board, Senator Jim Tedisco, Daphne Jordan, Assemblywoman Mary Beth Walsh for coming to support us. I want to thank Olya, of course, Olenek, and her fiance Jordan, Jordan Schatzberger, from St. Nicholas Church in Waterville. And I want to thank the tons and tons of volunteers that came out. A lot of town employees came out from town hall. Security was helping. Terry Cook for the pet food drive, or the pet drive that she did for all the supplies for animals. EMS was there to the very end, unloading supplies at the church. Dan, thank you for your help, and Tyler and Vinny. They were amazing. Sue over at the senior center. Highway department helped out and made a huge donation. I want to thank all of the Shen lacrosse players. The varsity boys and the JV boys showed up to help, and they were there till the very end sweeping the floors. And there were 8 troops of Girl Scouts that showed up to help. 2037, 2140, 2145, 2328, 2397, 2423, 2497, 2505. And one of our residents, Mr. John Donnelly, used his truck, his pickup truck, to help us. And absolutely, I'd like to thank all the residents that came out and made donations, medical supplies and monetary. So it was a huge success. And you know, I did get this citation from the New York Senate from Senator Tedesco, and he just wanted to thank us for the medical supply drive and acknowledges what a success it was. And it couldn't have been done without everybody's help. Many hands makes light work. So thank you to everybody. Good job. Thanks.
Yeah, the new pictures over the weekend, the atrocities in Ukraine, just unspeakable. And it's maddening and sad at the same time. And I think we all watch those pictures and videos and just feel very helpless so far away. But a lot of people stepped up to help, and I guess that's the role that we can play and should play at this point.
Oh, Phil, I did want to thank all of our sponsors too. I forgot. Tim Smith came out with the Smith Smoke Shack, the Kona Ice Truck. So Joe and Nancy Gonzalez. California, New York City donated 50 bags of popcorn. So Carla Durasmo. Upper Crust Pizza, Mark Ashman's. He gave us a donation of pizzas for the volunteers. Patty at Cookie Factory, and then Sue Johnson made sweets and English muffins too. So there's a lot of people involved.
Very good. Okay, anyone else? All right. We do have a number of resolutions this evening. Teresa, if you could read through those, please.
A resolution authorizing repairs to the Adventure Challenge course at Collins Park, whereas the town's Adventure Challenge course offers a unique aerial obstacle course consisting of tree climbing, zip lines, swing ropes, and related challenges for summer recreation at Collins Park. And whereas Project Adventure Beverly from Beverly, Massachusetts offers proprietary design, testing, and inspection services to ensure compliance with industry standards for safety and reliability of challenge course elements throughout the Northeast, and has performed safety testing on behalf of the town for compliance with industry standards. And whereas Project Adventure completed the most recent safety inspection of the course in the fall of 2021, which demonstrated needed repairs and upgrades to several of the existing course elements. And whereas Project Adventure has submitted a quote for the repairs necessary for the course elements in the amount of $12,035.98 for the planning, design, engineering, and implementation of repairs necessary to bring this course up to date for the new season. And whereas Myrna Kramer, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Community Affairs, recommends that the town board retain Project Adventure to complete the repairs to the course that have been identified by recent inspections per the submitted quote. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor is authorized to accept the quote of Project Adventure for the design, engineering, and implementation of repairs and upgrades to the town's Adventure Challenge course, and be it further resolved the Supervisor Barrett is authorized to execute documents attached for the professional services done by Project Adventure, Boston, Massachusetts, and be it further resolved that the comptroller is authorized to transfer $12,036 from contingency to general fund Project Adventure equipment. A resolution issuing a permit to serve alcoholic beverages per the attached special alcohol use permit application, whereas the following applicant has submitted a special alcohol use permit request to the Office of Parks and Recreation to be allowed to serve alcohol in the form of beer and wine for a gathering on the following date with occasion as listed on the application. Sarah Strauss, 85 Apple Tree Lane, Clifton Park, on June 26, 2022, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the special alcohol use permit request submitted by Sarah Strauss with the gathering as indicated. A resolution hiring seasonal staff for the 2022 summer season for Barney Road, Country Knowles, and Locust Lane pools. Whereas the town board wishes to hire staff to maintain a safe environment at the town pools, as well as assist in the management of those pools and programs at Barney Road, Country Knowles, and Locust Lane pools. And whereas Councilwomen Standart and Wallowwood have recommended that the attached list of individuals on Schedule A be hired for the 2022 summer season, effective immediately as indicated. Now therefore be it resolved that the individuals attached shall be hired as pool staff for the Barney Road, Locust Lane, Country Knowles pool for the 2022 season, to be paid at the rates as attached. A resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign an agreement with the Saratoga County Sheriff's Department for specialized law enforcement services. Whereas the town of Clifton Park has found it to be effective and efficient to obtain law enforcement services within the town through the Saratoga County Sheriff's Department, and whereas the town board wishes to renew the existing agreement for specialized law enforcement services for the Saratoga County Sheriff's Department per the attached agreement. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor is authorized to sign the attached agreement with the Saratoga County Sheriff's Department, whereby the Sheriff's Department shall provide specialized law enforcement services within the town of Clifton Park for a one-year period from January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022, for an amount not to exceed $593,210.36 to be paid from general fund security, other contractual. A resolution authorizing agreement with Paint Care for the collections and recycling of latex paint products at the transfer station. Whereas the transfer station provides and manages opportunities for the recycling of a wide variety of products, fluids, materials, including electronics, metals, plastics, oil-based automotive products and batteries, as well as garden and yard waste, bottles and cans, as well as textiles. And whereas in December of 2019, the state of New York adopted the Post-Consumer Paint Collection Program, codified by the Environmental Conservation Law 27/2021 et sec. And whereas regulations implementing the program, which establishes a comprehensive system for the safe collection and subsequent recycling of architectural paint sold in the containers of 5 gallons or less from consumers with leftover quantities, have now been completed. And whereas Paint Care Incorporated is a nonprofit 501c3 organization that represents paint producers who are required to participate in the program, which is funded by user fees assessed on paint products at the point of initial sale. And whereas the town board wishes to enter into an agreement with Paint Care to provide space and trained employees at the transfer station for the safe drop-off and collection of eligible architectural paint containers for recycling, and whereas the program provides for the free drop-off and unused paint and varnish products without cost to the town or to the residents. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor is authorized to sign the attached agreement with Paint Care in New York pursuant to the Environmental Conservation Law 27/2021. A resolution authorizing the replacement of garage door panels and openers at the transfer station. Whereas Director of Parks, Recreation, and Maintenance Daniel Clemens has solicited quotes for the repair or replacement of the overhead doors for the transfer station facilities. And whereas Madsen Overhead Doors Incorporated, 673 Route 203, Spencertown, New York, has submitted the lowest responsive quote for the replacement and repairs of the door components in an amount not to exceed $9,535. Now therefore be it resolved that Mr. Clemens is authorized to accept a quote from Madsen Overhead Doors Incorporated for an amount not to exceed $9,535 to be paid from Buildings and Grounds Transfer Station General Fund equipment, which will be transferred from General Fund Buildings and Grounds Transfer Station General Maintenance. A resolution amending the rate of pay and authorizing the hiring of the 2022 summer help for the Buildings and Grounds Department. Whereas resolution number 56 of 2022 authorized the hiring of summer help in the Buildings and Grounds Department, and whereas Daniel Clemens, Director of Buildings, Parks, and Recreation, recommends an increase in the rate of pay for seasonal positions to remain competitive with wages offered for other seasonal positions, and has therefore recommended that the individuals listed in Schedule A be amended to the revised hourly rates, and the individuals listed in Schedule B be hired to fill additional seasonal positions as indicated. Now therefore be it resolved that those individuals listed in Schedules A 2022 seasonal employees revised hourly rates, and Schedule B 2022 seasonal employees be employed as seasonal workers for the Buildings and Grounds Department for 2022 to be paid as listed, effective immediately. A resolution authorizing the sale of equipment declared surplus by the town board and authorizing departments to sell the surplus equipment at public auction. Whereas Daniel Clemens, Director of Buildings, Parks and Recreation, has identified the items on the attached Schedule A as surplus property, and whereas based upon the recommendation of Mr. Clemens, the town board declares the 6 items listed on Schedule A as surplus. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board authorizes the Buildings and Grounds Department to sell the surplus equipment as is through an upcoming online public auction. A resolution authorizing the purchase of brine spraying equipment for use by the Buildings and Grounds Department. Whereas Daniel Clemens, Director of Buildings, Parks and Recreation, has requested authorization to purchase new equipment for use by the Buildings and Grounds Department, and whereas Mr. Clemens has recommended that the town board approve the purchase of 1 Turbo Turf sprayer and accessories from Turbo Technologies Incorporated, 1500 First Avenue, Beaver Falls, PA, as the lowest responsive quote, in amount not to exceed $4,315. Now therefore be it resolved that the Clifton Park Town Board hereby authorizes the purchase of spraying equipment from Turbo Technologies as described in the attached documents at a total cost not to exceed $4,315 to be paid from General Fund Trails Equipment. A resolution to authorize the purchase of large screen TVs for use as monitors in the woodroom, conference rooms, and building and planning departments to improve viewing and markup of electronic records and presentations during plan reviews and board meetings. Whereas resolution number 276 of 2021 pursuant to a recommendation by the Information Technology Advisory Committee, the town board accepted the proposal of Online Solutions LLC for CitizenServe, its parcel management software to be used by various departments for building permits, planning, and zoning board reviews and inspections. And whereas CitizenServe will be primarily used as a parcel management and review software as a service at SaaS system, eventually reducing the amount of paper submitted and copied for the town reviews and applications. And whereas Director of Building and Development Stephen Myers and Director of Planning John Scavo wish to mount large monitors for the purposes of conducting reviews and presentations in the office and at board meetings. And whereas after consultation with ABS Solutions vendors were contacted for pricing and availability of 55-inch, 65-inch, and a 75-inch QLED TV monitors with Best Buy showing lowest price and availability for the TVs as shown in Schedule A at a cost not to exceed $5,029.93. And whereas review of comparable vendors showed inadequate supplies or limitations upon quality purchased at the lowest available prices. Now therefore be it resolved that the town is authorized to purchase 4 75-inch Vizio TVs, 2 65-inch Vizio TVs, and 1 55-inch Insignia TV as listed in the attached Schedule A from Best Buy as the best value. And be it further resolved that the comptroller is authorized to transfer from contingency $5,029.93 to General Fund Town Hall Operations equipment. A resolution to authorize the purchase of Dell laptops for the town board members under New York State contract. Whereas the town board has been updating its information technology and processing through town hall to improve access to information and applications for residents, employees, and officials. And whereas the town board wishes to authorize the purchase and issuance of laptop computers to increase mobility and reduce the amount of paper copies necessary for the review and processing of town business among board members, without the need for reliance on personal devices. And whereas use of the laptop will result in a reduction of the amount of paper copies, and whereas ABS Solution, the town's IT consultant, has provided a quote for Dell laptops available under New York State umbrella contract PM 20820 that will provide the town board members and town clerk with secure email and document storage that will suit their needs. Now therefore be it resolved that the town is authorized to purchase 6 Dell Workstation 5560 from the state contract PM 2820 at a cost not to exceed $16,596. And be it further resolved that the comptroller is authorized to transfer $16,596 from unassigned fund balance to the general fund town board equipment. A resolution ratifying a memorandum of agreement with the Civil Service Employees Association Incorporated, AFSCME Local 1000, AFL-CIO, representing the town of Clifton Park Highway Unit of Saratoga County, Local 846. Whereas the supervisor and Councilman Morelli have met with representatives of the Civil Service Employees Association Incorporated and the Town Highway Unit in contract negotiations over the fall, winter, and spring months in 2021 and 2022. And whereas an agreement has been reached in principle on an extension of the existing collective bargaining agreement covering the period from January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2024, with salary increases of 3.5% for 2022, retroactive to January 1st, 2022, and subsequent costs of living increase of 3% each year for 2023 and 2024. And whereas the agreement has been memorialized in the attached memorandum of agreement signed by Superintendent Dan Bull and Supervisor Philip Barrett, as well as representatives from the highways, from the CSEA, AFS, CME Local 1000, AFL-CIO for the Clifton Park Highway Unit. And therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby ratifies the memorandum of agreement dated March 25th, 2022 with the Civil Service Employees Association Incorporated Unit representing Town of Clifton Park Highway Unit, copy of which is annexed hereto as Exhibit A. All provisions to be incorporated into a new contract as appropriate. And be it further resolved that the provisions in the previous contract not modified by this memorandum of agreement to remain. Resolution increasing Green Committee revenues and expenditures by $5,000 for rainwater collectors and composting buckets purchased with funds received from the NYSERDA program grant. Whereas the Green Committee applied for a NYSERDA Clean Energy Community Grant and was awarded $5,000 to enable the purchase of 27 compost tumblers and 27 rainwater barrels, which will be offered free of charge to residents. Now therefore be it resolved that the comptroller is hereby authorized to increase general fund New York State revenues by $5,000 and also to increase expenditures by $5,000. A resolution extending the waiver of permit fees for the bars and restaurants to utilize tents and other temporary modifications to allow for outdoor seating. Whereas resolution number 116 of 2020 allowed business owners in Clifton Park a streamlined process for bars and restaurants to utilize tents and other temporary modifications to allow for outdoor seating during phase 2 reopening of the capital region, as the area was emerging from the restrictions on economic activity imposed through former Governor Cuomo's executive orders 202.1 et sec related to the COVID-19 emergency through October 15th, 2020, and whereas pursuant to executive order 2002.38 and consistent with guidance issued by the New York State Department of Health on June 4th, 2020, restaurants and bars within the county were allowed to open with indoor capacity limited. And whereas local business owners have expressed a desire to continue providing safe outdoor dining experiences based on responses from customers, and whereas the town board wishes to encourage business within the town and to offer assistance by streamlining local procedures to increase capacity, including outdoor seating as the weather will permit. And whereas the town board also wishes to encourage other businesses within the town to expand their use of other outdoor spaces to the maximum extent practicable. Now therefore be it resolved that the Director of Building and Development is authorized to accept applications and to issue and establish for 2022 temporary permits for tents or canopies to enable outdoor seating capacity and uses after confirming compliance with all the New York State fire and building codes through December 31st, 2022, and be it further resolved that the permit fees for tents contained in section 103.16 are hereby waived for existing bars, restaurants, and establishments through December 31st, 2022. A resolution accepting dedication of sewer utility easements from the Meadows subdivision along a portion of New York State Route 146. Whereas Woodhaven Land Partners LLC wishes to dedicate certain sanitary sewer easements within the Meadows subdivision along a portion of Route 146 to the town of Clifton Park for sewer purposes. And whereas the town board agrees to accept the dedication of sanitary sewer easements, now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby accepts the dedication of certain sanitary sewer improvements and easements per the correspondence from Nadine Biden Shadlock Esquire dated March 20th, 2022, attached, subject to final review of deeds and related transfer documents by the town attorney.
All set.
Teresa, on number 12,
Okay,
the third whereas clause down, the town supervisor signed the MOU, but the highway superintendent did not execute it.
okay, so what do we want to say?
Just to eliminate the reference to the highway superintendent.
Okay, okay,
Erroneously listed.
Yeah, erroneously listed by my office.
okay.
Alright. Okay, Teresa, if you would read the headings and we'll consider each resolution individually.
Resolution number 87 of 2022, a resolution authorizing repairs to the Adventure Challenge course at Collins Park.
Second.
All right, Nolan Yowell is here. Hello, sir, how are you?
I'm good. How's everybody doing?
Could you come up, please? And as somebody who's very, very familiar with the adventure program on the ground,
Yeah.
tell us about these improvements and why they're needed.
So my name's Nolan. I've been the head instructor at this course for 3 summers. I was the assistant for 2 summers before that. And then I was a camper at that course for 8 years before that. So I feel like I know this course pretty well and I'm qualified to speak about the repairs being made. Frankly, a lot of this stuff on this resolution, I'm not sure if you all have a copy of it, but a lot of it's routine. You'll see staples in here a lot, belay anchors. The cost that you're seeing, this $12,000 price tag, which isn't light, that's not necessarily just staples. A lot of this is maintenance that Larry Rorick, who's the current course manager, I'm not the course manager, he and I have been discussing this for about 4 years, how some of these elements have been operable, 3 to 4 years, 1 to 2 years, and this is kind of the last summer possible before next summer most of the course is not going to pass the inspection. And as I look through a lot of this, I think, quite frankly, like the centipede, which is a massive wire that kids climb, the telephone pole, I used this stuff when I was a camper, and I know that it's still the same stuff that I use, so it's time for some maintenance for sure. And I did some note taking here. The elements that will be lost this summer, if this resolution is not passed, are going to be our zip line, which is our most, I'd say, flagship element. That's where kids climb 50-foot tree, zip line down. But the cool part is 4 kids belay another camper up. We have 2 campers operating a ladder. We have 1 kid operating a rope. So it's a team building thing as well as just a climb. So if that gets knocked out, that's typically on Thursdays. That's like a whole week of camp that we'd have to maybe just do something a second time rather than do something new. We would lose the pamper pole, which is a telephone pole stuck in the ground. And this one hurts to see because this is where I say this in like job interviews. I learned how to be confident in myself on this particular telephone pole, like climbing up, standing up, trying to jump off for a trapeze. So if that were to be decommissioned, that would be pretty heartbreaking just personally. But there's 4 other elements that we would lose other than those: the pamper plank, the rollout rappel, zip line, the dangle trio, which is our biggest team builder element. That's a big 6-rung wooden ladder. The higher you climb, the further apart the rungs get on the ladder, and 3 kids climb it at once. And when you got middle schoolers who they could stand on one plank and not even be able to reach the one above them, they're literally like standing on each other and their shoulders to lift their teammates up. So that's what we do that on Wednesdays, and we get volleyball teams that come, we get like Girl Scout troops that come. We always use that one because that's the big team building element. That would be lost. The centipede I mentioned, the catwalk will be lost next year if the repairs aren't made. So that's where the cost really blows up, is when it says like complete replacement of centipede or completely rebuilding the zip line as a gravity break, which in simple terms means it's not up to a wooden block that a camper zip line hits to then stop them. It's just sort of falling out of practice. A gravity break means that they travel a certain distance, the end of the cable is high enough on another tree where gravity just stops them. It's safer. It's what Project Adventure believes in now. And I'll cap off with, I think it's really important that as a town, we maintain our relationship with Project Adventure, because it's either Project Adventure or High Five. They're just two companies that do similar things. And we've sort of distanced ourselves from High Five. Project Adventure is a great company. I've done trainings with them. I know the people out there, they're great. And they were really friendly when I was there, and I walked through the course with them last year for the inspection, and they're supportive of us. They really like our course because we kind of have an old school approach in certain things. We got some elements that they don't necessarily teach anymore, but they still support. So if those things are maintained and we just get these safety standards up with this resolution, it'll be a great summer, because as the supervisor mentioned to me earlier, we've had a bit of a renaissance of this camp in the last 2 years. We've had full registration typically in April or May. We're full for July. So it's really become popular. And it'd be a shame if it were stunted because there was just some routine maintenance things that didn't happen. So
Thank you. That was a very detailed rundown of the improvements that are on the table. Yeah, it's always been a popular activity, but I think it's true. The last couple of years, it seems like it's had an uptick in interest,
absolutely.
which is great to see. For all the reasons you mentioned and more, the team building, the self-confidence, it's something very different than anything else that we offer as far as an activity here at the town of Clifton Park. So for many, many reasons, I think it's important that we continue to make sure we have not only a quality course that people of all ages can benefit from, but also a safe course.
Absolutely.
And make sure that hopefully make your job a little easier, and confidence that the course is in great shape and it is safe. And when you set the kids up to go on these adventures, they can do it with peace of mind. So that's important as well. Any questions for Nolan?
So they will come and install all this equipment?
Yeah, that's where you'll see also like travel expenses. It's because Beverly's about 3.5 hours away, but they come and they do it all themselves, which is what we like.
And do they do a separate inspection once it's all complete, another safety inspection?
Yeah, they'll do that, and they do an annual inspection at the end of every season as well to make sure that the repair, so that they will inspect it once they build it, and at the end of the season, they'll just do their annual inspection like always.
Great.
Yep.
Thanks.
No problem.
Well, we appreciate your involvement, leadership, coming back,
Thank
and
you.
look forward to a successful year.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Nolan.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming tonight, too.
It's amazing what those kids do on those ropes courses and the zip lines. I went out, I don't think it was last year, it was COVID, but the year before, I went out and watched the kids do it, and they just literally free fall from things and jump from trees to tree. It's amazing what they do. So I agree, safety's cannot be compromised.
Yeah. All right, very good. Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standart?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowit?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 88 of 2022, a resolution issuing a permit to serve alcoholic beverages for the attached special, alcohol use permit
You too.
application.
So moved.
Second?
All right, pretty self-explanatory. It's for an event coming up June 26th. Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standart?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowit?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 89 of 2022, a resolution hiring seasonal staff for the 2022 summer season for Barney Road, Country Knowles, and Locust Lane pools.
Second.
So we've been actively preparing for the pool season. A lot to do as always, both on the maintenance side as far as the pools are concerned, as well as the folks that'll be working throughout the pool schedule, also the learn to swim instructors, managers, so on and so forth. So always a very busy time getting everything together. We have lost some older guards, unfortunately, to jobs after school or internships. So we do wish them all the best. It does skew our total age a little younger, which has some complications. But we did have 12 new applicants, and we're looking for more lifeguards currently. So if you are interested in working this summer, if you need your certification, if you haven't had that done yet and not sure where to go, call my office. We will get you in touch with the right folks. But we definitely need more lifeguards. Good news is our pool managers are returning. They have a great deal of experience, so glad that they will be coming back. Our swim lesson director, Alyssa DeFabio, who we recruited last year to be the Learn to Swim instructor. She just did a fantastic job last year, very easy to work with. And we had a very successful return of Learn to Swim. We're looking for another successful year this year. We are scheduling a WSI class to hopefully attract more guards to be swim instructors, because the number of weeks that we can offer Learn to Swim will be totally based on how many instructors we have. And we do need more instructors. So we will be giving a course again this year. Last year we brought in a private individual to give the courses right here locally, to hopefully make it a little easier and more convenient for people that wanted to take that course. So we're going to do that again in June. We're also working with the county to initiate a new lifeguard training opportunity. So it's not finalized yet, but we're working on it. So again, if somebody's out there who would like to be a lifeguard, but they don't have the certification yet, contact us and we'll steer you in the right direction. So hopefully we'll have more information on that soon. Also soon we'll have a pool schedule and Learn to Swim schedule. We don't have either at the current moment. It's guard and instructor dependent, as I described before. So we want to offer at least 2 sessions of Learn to Swim like we did last year, which were 2 weeks apiece. We'd like to stay open, have the pool stay open, hopefully open as close to Memorial Day weekend as possible, or even on Memorial Day weekend perhaps, and as late into the summer as we possibly can. We may not get to Labor Day again this year, just due to the fact that we just won't have enough seasoned guards to make that happen. Last year, what we did was we had one pool, Country Knowles, open that last week. That we were open, God bless you, open for the season. We might have to do that again. I'm hoping we can do something like that again. Due to the lack of guards, we just had to shut down Barney and move all available guards to Country Knowles for that last week. It worked fairly well. It was actually a very hot week last year, so the weather was very warm, so it was busy. It was a busy week. So for one pool, that was quite a challenge. Thankfully, it's a little later in the year, so typically attendance is down a little bit as you get later in the year. But so we just have some challenges again this year due to the need for guards and swim instructors. So we're going to continue to we're using every contact that we have, our pool managers have, anybody that's involved with the team to reach out and try to recruit more individuals. But I was happy with the 12 applicants we did get. The Brian and Bruce have been doing the interviews, so I want to thank them for doing that as always. And then they work together to try to come up with a team that works for the 3 pools, trying to make sure again that we have enough seasoned guards at, say, Country Knowles as well as Barney and Locust to mentor and work with the younger guards. So that's where we are. So we'll have more information soon. We're still actively recruiting. We'll have more training opportunities ahead. So if you are interested, it's a great summer job. Right there. Yeah, great summer job. And good life-saving techniques. Very good to learn. All right, any discussion? All right.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stanford?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 90 of 2022, a resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign an agreement with Saratoga County Sheriff's Department for specialized law enforcement services.
Second.
Okay, this is a continuation of our current contract with the Sheriff's Department. Look forward to another successful year working with them. Any discussion? Okay, Teresa.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stanford?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 91 of 2022, a resolution authorizing an agreement with Paint Care for the collections and recycling of latex paint products at the transfer station.
So moved. Second.
Very excited about this program. It's going to be a great opportunity for people to dispose of their unwanted paints. It is estimated that 3.77 million gallons a year of leftover paint is generated just here in New York. So if that's true, that's over 3.5 million gallons of paint that is left over, sitting in your basement, your shed, like mine. So definitely looking forward to this. And in the past, basically, if you had water-based paint, you were told to harden it. You can buy a hardener at the store. You can use kitty litter, whatever the case may be, and throw it away. The latex or oil-based, I should say, we took at hazardous waste day. Now we'll take everything on an ongoing basis, and everything will be taken away and recycled appropriately. So what is Paint Care? Paint Care is a nonprofit which was created by the American Coatings Association. And New York State passed a New York Paint Stewardship Law in 2019, which paved the way for this partnership. New York is the 10th state to participate in this type of a program. Basically, what the town will provide is a drop-off point and a container, a large container at the transfer station. Paint Care will provide the boxes, the containers inside our large container where the paint will be left. They will also provide all transportation, which is obviously very important to the program. So who pays for this? Well, there's an additional fee assessed along the way of manufacturing and then wholesaling the paint. So that fee is what pays for the program. So what we're proposing is we begin by accepting the paint on Thursdays at the transfer station. We're planning to start May 5th, And the paint can be dropped off every subsequent Thursday during the normal operating hours of the transfer station. No transfer station permit fee would be required, and it would only be during the hours of operation that the transfer station is open on Thursdays, which currently is 7 to 5:30. And there's no cost for this service. You just leave your paint to be recycled, and there is no cost to you whatsoever. However, there's always a couple of caveats. All containers must be 5 gallons or less in size and must not be leaking or empty. It's pretty easy. And containers must have the original printed manufacturer's label. As far as what's accepted and not accepted, just to give you an idea, accepted would be interior and exterior architectural paints, latex, acrylic, water-based, oil-based, enamel, deck coatings, floor paints, primers, sealers, undercoaters, stains, shellacs, lacquers, varnishes, urethanes, waterproofing, concrete, masonry, wood sealers, and repellents. So all of those and more would be accepted. Not accepted would be items such as paint thinners, mineral spirits, solvents, aerosol spray, auto marine paints, art and craft paints, caulking compounds, epoxies, glues, adhesives, wood preservatives, roof patch and repair, asphalt tar, and deck cleaners, traffic and road marking paint, and a few others. So, but your household paints, basically, all of those, including stains, will be accepted. And I think that'll be the bulk of what we will end up accepting there. People that have leftover paint stains, want to get rid of it, not sure where to do it. The other good thing is for the people that do use the transfer station, you know, when you harden say a 5-gallon bucket of paint, you know, it's fairly heavy. And when that weight goes into our containers, that costs money. By eliminating, I don't know what the number is, but it must be a fair number of hardened 5-gallon buckets of paint during the year. You add up all that weight, and that's weight we're taking out of the waste stream, which is costing us money, but also taking it out of the waste stream, which is very important. So anyway, it's a tremendous program. Again, no cost to the town or residents who utilize it. We'll probably, we want to test and see what the response is. We think it'll be fairly strong. Paint Care will come as many times as they need to make sure that, you know, based on the response. So if we get filled up quick, they'll come more often than they're planning to. But
Is there a limit or no? Like, can
No.
somebody bring 5 or 6 or?
yeah,
Okay.
no limit. No limit.
And contractors can drop too or no?
That's different, I believe. That's different. They can do that on a case-by-case basis, and they will come. We had a conference call with them on Friday, so I have some of this. So it's a little different, but they can help.
Yeah, if you're a painting contractor and you show up with a van full of unwanted paint, you know, that's not something we'd be able to accommodate without a special accommodation.
Right, right. But she even said, you know, if you have a resident that has, you know, 15 cans in their basement and they can't, you know, find a place for them, they'll figure something out.
Well, the good news is it's every Thursday, so you don't have to bring it all at once either. Now, we may get to a point where we have a separate event where maybe at another public place, we have a special one-day collection. That's something that we would need to coordinate with Paint Care, but that might be something that we can offer. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how this initial acceptance goes. 7 to 5:30 is it's a long day, so you can go before work or after work. So we hope it's going to be very convenient for people. But if necessary, we will coordinate with Paint Care and hold a separate event somewhere at some point during the year to make sure that we're capturing everybody that wants to get rid of leftover paint. All right, so we'll post all this information on the website and social media so people can see exactly what we can accept and what we can't. I think I covered everything there, but so I know there'll be a lot of happy folks about this one. We get quite a bit of calls as far as what to do with paints, and now we have a good answer. And it's not a one-day thing, you know, it's a year-round answer, which is much more convenient. All right, any further discussion?
Yeah, just quick, Dan, for these items where you don't need a permit, you check the residency status?
For like CED things, no, you don't have to be a resident to bring CED, we just charge it based on our list
Well, what, so for like this,
for paint.
for paint, where,
Yeah, I suppose we probably won't need to, if they have a permit, I guess, I don't know. It's a good question.
Well, there's certain things we do check for residency and other things we don't. C&D, construction debris, that is a portion of the transfer station that we've actively marketed for years now as a way to generate revenue to offset the continuous drop in permits. And it's been very successful. So, you know, if you're coming in with C&D, you don't care where you're from. Yard waste and other things, yes, we do check. And I think we're going to have to do the same here. You know, if somebody drives up to the gate or the guard and says, you know, I'm here for the paint care, I think we do need to check for residency. So,
Okay.
good point. Good point. Especially in the beginning, because I think once the word gets out, I don't know who else is doing this. If there's other municipalities that are doing this, I'm not sure. So, at least in the beginning, I think we need to, because we're just not sure what the response is going to be. All right, very good.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stander?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
yes,
Councilwoman Walworth?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 92 of 2022, a resolution authorizing the replacement of garage door panels and openers at the transfer station.
so,
Second?
All right, Dan, the transfer station doors.
On our garage down there are 4 large overhead doors that the equipment goes in and out of. And the bottom panels, the old saying, you can throw a cat through them, they're gone. Over the winter time, it was getting a little tough on the heat and everything in there. So they need to be replaced. The openers are antique and don't really work properly. They don't have modern code safety devices on them. So we went out for an RFP. Madison Overhead Door came back to Locust. We've done work with them before. They recently did all 10 doors on our main shop up here. Good company. They came right quick. Did a nice job, very thorough. Not an issue in the world with them. So I think they'll do a good job down there fixing it. I saw the trim is falling apart too. That's part of this too. All the seals on the side, the seals on the bottom, everything. So tighten the doors up on there, save some money on heat, and be safer at the same time.
Well, those are the original doors, right?
Yes, sir.
So we're talking 20 years.
It's a good lifetime, I suppose, out of what it is. So it's a metal door, around with salt and whatnot. So
I have a couple of pictures of what we had down there before we built that building.
Yeah.
Let's just say it was necessary.
Yeah. Wasn't much of a place before that garage, that's for sure.
I didn't take any pictures back then. Don or Ron or somebody did, and yeah, very brought back some memory.
Yeah.
All right, any questions for Dan? Okay, Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stander?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
yes,
Councilwoman Walworth?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 93 of 2022, a resolution amending the rate of pay and authorizing the hiring of 2022 summer help for the Buildings and Grounds Department.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have some returnees, which which is good. We also have a number of new people that will be working for us this summer. As you can see, there's a recommendation of an increase in salary for the summer help. And I know, Dan, you've been talking to prospective workers about that.
That's correct. So, interviewing the few people that have come in to do the summer work, offering them the little bit of money I was trying to stay on Mark's good side and not spend a dime. They didn't want to come and work, so we had to up the ante a little bit to get some people to come in and work. So once I offer that, I have to really adjust for my returners. I can't pay somebody new more money than the person who's been coming back for the third year. So kind of just went in a direct ratio with how much more they were getting and increase everybody else from there. And this will fill all the positions that I need as long as they all decide to show up, which there's never a guarantee on that too.
I think they will.
I think they will. I mean, a lot of these people, I can say it because I'm classified the same, they're older people, so I think that they're going to be a little bit more reliable.
Some are.
A couple of them are college age, and so we'll see. Looks very promising. Everybody, it seems like they're very interested in this kind of work, and I think it's going to work out great.
Yeah, we got a lot to do, and it is important they show up. That is true. But to be more competitive in the marketplace, we definitely saw the need to recommend an increase in the hourly pay for these seasonal workers. All right, any questions? All right, Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stanbridge?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 94 of 2022, a resolution authorizing the sale of equipment declared surplus by the town board and authorizing departments to sell the surplus equipment at public auction.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have some vehicles and a couple other pieces of equipment. Dan?
Yeah, so as usual, we've gotten every last drop out of the equipment that we have around here. We use it right to the last, and that's because we maintain it. And so we get a lot of years out of it. We don't just use it and abuse it. We take care of everything that we have. So this one truck is from Buildings and Grounds. We stripped a lot of parts off of it, so it's actually pretty much just a chassis left out there, a lot of rust. The two buses, Michael Bryan's for the old senior vans that he used for the sewer department. And once we got a new senior van here, he got one of the newer ones, so he swapped all the stuff over. So I put that on for him, help him out. And that little Salter is his, and the one car is from Town Hall fleet, which people from Town Hall use to go on different things. And that is also pretty much used up. That was a security vehicle. It was pretty much beat when they gave it over here, and it's been running around here for a few years. So it's all useful to someone, but just not to town anymore.
Yeah, it gets to the point where diminishing returns, and so no, I think it's good. Yeah, we have a new sewer express.
Yes.
And I talked to Mike, he wants to get some different lettering in there. Did he talk to you about that?
No, not yet. No.
He wants something a little different than last time,
Okay.
a little more noticeable, shall we say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
So we can follow up with him on that, in case
Okay.
he needs some help with some lettering.
Sure. I always like to stay helping him, because if I need him, I want him. Right
Yeah, stay with good stuff.
away. Essential.
All right, very good. Discussion. Okay, Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stanbridge?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 95 of 2022, a resolution authorizing the purchase of brine spraying equipment for use by the Buildings and Grounds Department.
So moved.
Second.
All right, so this would be brine for the trails.
Primarily, absolutely. Everybody knows it was a very icy winter and a lot of salt. We went through a lot of salt, and we were trying to keep our trails at a minimum for the salt. And the equipment that we have is very hard to regulate it to keep it light. And sometimes it has to be extremely heavy, and getting into dogs' paws and everything else, plus washing into the ground. So always looking into ways to serve the town a little bit better. So let's talk about this brine setup. did some research on it and had some discussions on it, and this way we'll be able to pre-treat the trails. This rig also has a hose on it. We can pre-treat the sidewalks here at Town Hall. We can pre-treat our salt pile that's at the transfer station, which will make that go double the distance when you actually use it. So I think it seems to make a lot of sense for the winter. And then the more I thought about it, so well, at the truck I'm gonna put it on in the summertime, we use that for flowers. It's like to the manufacturers, it's the same thing you do, just the water plants. You just clean it out good with the brine, and in the summertime, you fill it with water. You go around and water flowers and fill gator bags for trees. So it'll be able to be used year round. It won't be just strictly for brine. You have to make a quick adaptation, take the spraying line off the back and just go to the hose, and you can use it all summer as well. So also kind of, again, with Mike O'Brien, he had a couple of things he wanted to auction. It turned out I wanted them. There were storage tanks for the brine, which we can get from New York State. They will charge us for it. So he had the tanks that I need. I just take them from him, and we'll have it all set to go. I think it should really be a nice way to go with that. And then our snow blower, which came very late in the year. Between that, we'll never probably see salt on the trail out there again. It's just nice and clear.
So you need to go through and pre-treat. So it's like they do with streets.
That's it, exactly. Like New York State does, Town of Malta does. You go out, you have like a bar on the back with little spray nozzles, and it'll spray the brine mixture onto the blacktop, and then it stays it so it doesn't stick to it really hard, which a lot of times that's the problem. Once you get out there with a plow or something that's caked on, because people walk, pack it in, it gets stuck to the blacktop. Now I have chunks of ice and bad spots on the trails, and end up having to salt them. I said the equipment we have, you can't really slow it down enough to go easy. You end up with big piles of rock. So this, you put it on there, and when you go through it later on when the snow stops, the snow blower, it'll scrape it right down to that blacktop, and you'll be all set. The sun does its job, and you're good to go.
Well, you still probably need to use salt because you're still going to have, precipitation coming down. It's
It's a possibility.
It's going to thaw, freeze.
I think there'll be a slight chance of having to use, certainly a whole lot less salt. I mean, I can't tell you what every situation is going to be. Sure, we may have to put some salt on it here and there, but spot treating versus flooding the whole miles and miles of trails is a big difference too.
The under what kind of storm would it work the best? I mean, probably a couple inches.
Yeah.
2-3 inches.
Yeah, even more. I think it would be effective even higher than that for this situation.
Yeah, I guess we can give it a shot, but once you get any kind of a storm, it's not that effective. I think it's more effective when it's a small storm.
Yeah, we'll have to see, but from this research I've done, it seems like it'll last quite a lot longer, depending on how you mix it too. If you mix it really, really light, it doesn't last as long. If you know you're going to have a bigger storm, longer duration, you can mix it heavier. It'll actually stay ahead of it for quite a while. So it's certainly going to be something to have to work on as we go, but like anything else, we'll start working with it and figure it out. But I don't see how this is going to be anything but helpful for people walking those paths and make our job quicker, make it safer for our residents.
Right. Very good. Any other questions? Discussion? Okay, Teresa.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stander?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yeah.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 96 of 2022, a resolution to authorize the purchase of large screen TVs for use as monitors in the woodroom, conference rooms, and building and planning departments to improve viewing and markup of electronic records and presentations during planned reviews and board meetings.
So moved. Second.
Okay, very good. Upgrade of our technology, as the resolution states, with in different rooms with proposals and presentations and other uses. Okay, discussion. Okay, Teresa.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stander?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yeah.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 97 of 2022, a resolution to authorize the purchase of Dell laptops for the town board members under New York State contract.
So moved.
Second.
This, personally, I don't need a laptop. I have one, so I don't need one, but $2,700 plus, I mean, that's pretty pricey. Was there another option that maybe was a little less than that?
So Matt worked with Ryan from ADS Solutions on the pricing. Matt, could you elaborate on that, answer the supervisor's question?
Sure. This is pretty much the standard that's out there if you want to have a fully capable laptop. As far as laptops are designed now, they're basically just as the same as, as our desktops. So whether or not you got a desktop or a laptop that has all the equipment and the software you need, it would come in around the same cost. There really aren't any, if you will, low powered, when it went through with Ryan from ABS Solutions, any lower powered or limited laptops that are out there. You either get a laptop that's going to be able to run the office softwares and the programs and stuff needed for the jobs, or you just go to something as simple as a Chromebook, which all that's doing is just giving you, access to the internet, but doesn't really give the capability for, in this case, board members to be able to do everything that they would do and have the same level of technology in front of them that all the other town employees have. Part of it is creating, a uniformity across all the different levels. So everyone that's doing something that has the same programs and stuff, so it can work closely together with other town employees, departments, whoever they might be working with at the town, and it gives them a full capability and a fully fledged computer at their services.
Yeah, thank you. So I think not only for the town board members, but also for our town clerk, I think it's really important that we try and reduce the use of doing town business on our own personal devices, just for transparency and accountability purposes. And like Matt had mentioned, with these laptops, with us being able to communicate with town employees and serve residents with this technology, we will have a uniform standard of technology and software. Oftentimes when I'm communicating back and forth with other employees, it's very hard because I'm working on something completely different than they are. My storage isn't compliant with what they're using, so it's been kind of tricky, and we have to work around a lot of things. So I think there's a lot of good reasons for us to finally move the town board up to the 21st century and have these devices. We work 24/7, and this will increase our accessibility to the public, so that we can do our jobs better and be more efficient with the services that we provide on a daily, weekly basis. Bless you. So some of the times, of course, paper is going to be reduced significantly. I've been using my laptop for several months now, and it's been a huge help to me. Very convenient. I do know that there are some board members that do not receive their paperwork, their mail, the hard copies until days after they are submitted to us, because they don't have the capabilities to have that on their personal devices. So this is really going to improve our performance as public servants and give us the ability to do our jobs better.
Yeah, anyone else?
Yeah, I would just comment, I appreciate the effort of the IT committee. I think there's definitely been some needs to improve IT abilities throughout town hall for our employees. I appreciate the investments that have been brought forward. I think the 10th resolution for tonight has been needed for a long time. I was on the planning board for a few years, and we could have used that then. However, I think laptops for the board members, I think is a little excessive, and I don't think it's, I just don't think it's needed at this time.
Well, I know, I don't have a device that I can work on. You know, I'm not allowed to use anything with my school and the job that I have, so I have nothing to work on. And I know having a son going to college, $2,600 for a laptop is very reasonably priced.
I'm still receiving everything like this.
I would also just mention that the recommendation for the laptops came out of the Citizen Serve subcommittee that was doing these other upgrades. They were the ones that actually brought forth the need for devices for the town board and also to expand it with the zoning board. So it came out of the work with the Citizen Serve subcommittee. We've kind of, if you will, been running a trial already with the planning department, which has, I'm sorry, not the planning department, the planning board, which has devices, so they can work more efficiently. They're not always having to come in with them, like sometimes being able to come in and receive documents and stuff during the day, and the volume and the size sometimes with plans and stuff. So that's created a number of efficiencies there that they've been indicated. But so just a little background on where the recommendation originally came from.
Okay, anyone else? I think everybody spoke on this one, actually.
Yeah, thank you
All
for
right.
mentioning that, Matt. That was, I had missed that point, but I do appreciate the work from the IT, the Citizen Serve Subcommittee on this initiative.
Hey, Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilmember Reilly?
No,
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yes,
Supervisor Barrett?
No.
Resolution number 98 of 2022, a resolution ratifying a memorandum of agreement with the Civil Service Employees Association Incorporated, AFS-CME Local 1000, AFL-CIO, representing Town of Clifton Park Highway Unit of Saratoga County Local 846.
so
second,
All right, so we have a negotiated renewal with the Highway CSEA unit. The proposed contract was approved by the membership over at Highway last week. I think it's a fair agreement for both sides of the negotiation, but it also reflects the realities of today. And there's just a couple of things, you know, one the raises. 3.5% for this year, 3% for the next two. Also, the town will pay for the costs associated with obtaining and maintaining a CDL. And I think we've all seen very clearly the shortage of CDL licensed drivers, Class B, Class A, in New York and around the country. So this shortage will continue to be acute, I'm sure. And New York has now made it more difficult for somebody to obtain the CDL. I don't know if that will make the shortage that much more high, based on the fact that people now would need to go through a more significant training process. Hopefully not, but you know, it is a possibility. Other than that, there was some clarifications, language, some updates, and we're maintaining the current healthcare. Healthcare was not, changes to the healthcare were not part of the negotiations. The decisions made on the healthcare front over the last dozen years have saved the town hundreds of thousands of dollars at a minimum, and also offered great coverage for town employees. So I don't think there's any need to go down the route of looking to change our healthcare at this point. So anyway, that's where we are. But again, I think it's a fair agreement for both sides. Any discussion?
is this the final contract
Or is this amendment to the draft contract, or just amendments?
These are just amendments to the existing contract. Anything not altered in the memorandum of agreement remains the same from the last 3-year contract.
Will there be another contract? I mean, is this the final document?
No, it's not the final document. These changes, if the board ratifies the changes in this memorandum of agreement, these will be incorporated into the longer existing contract.
And does Mr. Bull have to sign that contract?
I don't know if he signed the last one or not. I think the board, the operational part is has the highway superintendent's input on it. The salary raises are the purview of the town board.
Just a few other things I would
Yeah.
note from this MOU that I think are noteworthy. The clothing allowance increased, the health insurance buyout increased. I think part of the conversations and the negotiations spoke of the real strength and value of our health insurance as a town, but still increasing that buyout. A lot of discussion with the unit about reimbursement of some personal items, and we came to the conclusion, and there's an amendment in the resolution for certain personal items to be reimbursed. If someone's working, drops their glasses, there's allowance for, hearing aids, those sort of things. There's also an allowance, not necessarily full value, but allowance if an employee were to drop their phone. Sometimes we had a lot of discussion about employees sometimes leaving their, like the camera ability on their phone as part of their job. So we were able to come to a consensus on that. And also, the last thing I would mention is the expansion, an additional holiday, which I think is pretty important. And then also the expansion of the bereavement policy to include domestic partners, which I think is important for any employer to do. So I'm glad we were able to get all those items in, as well as the ones that you mentioned, Supervisor.
Yeah, and the buyout, just to be clear on that, that's basically an incentive. We obviously we're close proximity to Albany, so many government workers in Clifton Park, whether they work at schools or state offices and other government employ, and typically those entities have very good healthcare plans as well. So with the increase in the buyout, we hope it's an incentive for some people that maybe have very good healthcare through a spouse. Will say, well, we won't take the town healthcare, we'll take the buyout instead, and that's a significant savings for the town, and the employee still has very good healthcare through a spouse. So just to clarify that that's an added incentive, and that's what it's intended to be. All right, any further discussion? Okay, Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stander?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 99 of 2022, a resolution increasing Green Committee revenues and expenditures by $5,000 for rainwater collectors and composting buckets purchased with funds received from NYSERDA program grant. So moved. Second.
Okay, rainwater collectors and composting buckets.
The Green Committee has worked really hard through these NYSERDA grants in the clean energy communities, and we have earned significant amounts of money so far, and we've got this $5,000 that we will be giving back to the community. I'm glad you're here, Joanne, to talk about this a little bit. Would you like to expand upon our initiative that we're working on?
Initiatives.
Initiatives, yes.
Am I supposed to stand?
Sure, come on up.
Thank you.
Need you ask?
Hi, I'm Joanne Coon from the Green Committee,
You can
and
adjust the mic too.
it's really a team effort by our community,
we've had we've had people who have, signed up for community solar, so we've earned $5,000, and then we go back to NYSERDA and say what we're gonna use the 5,000 for, and this is what we came up with. We've been wanting to do a composting in particular program and jumpstart it, and, so we're grateful for that. So it's a great opportunity for our citizens. There'll be 27 rain barrels, 27, composters, and, Dan Clemens down at the transfer station, we're gonna do a demo so you can actually see how to set them up and how to use them. And it's a highly visible spot, so that's kind of cool. And then we're gonna, there'll be an education component to this, of course. So that's just our first initiative. We have 2 more we have to write for, so we're looking for ideas. Welcome your ideas on how to spend will be $10,000 total. We got those grants through signing up EV vehicles for our residents, and the other one was for demand response, having our signups. So that's forthcoming. We also had a $5,300 income from Ampion, who gave us some bonus money for running this campaign. It was $100 per sign up, so we had 53 signups, so we got $300. So yeah, kind of like a little nest egg started, and looking to utilize it to the best of our ability to benefit our community. So we welcome your input, our community input, and how to use it, because it is a team effort. We're all in this together. And I want to say kudos about the brine on the trails. That's really why I'm here. I'm just so excited about that. I think it's great. So any questions?
You're not here for the rainwater?
Well, this was kind of like just a formality, I think. It had to get, according to Mark, it has to get transferred. Our grant money has to get transferred into the budget. I'm learning about this stuff now. And so that, that was kind of like a given. I was thinking, who would have jacked?
Right, yeah.
All Dan had to say on the brine was about the salt pitting and Paul's the dogs, and he had my vote.
Well, if I can just elaborate a little bit, if you do put down the brine and you do get 2 feet of snow, let's say, then you come through and it just shovels off because it doesn't stick. And then you don't have the ice. So even with a large storm, it is really effective. We've been doing a little homework on this, so.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Joanne.
Very good. I'm thinking it might work a little differently than on a street, without the traffic constantly running over.
We'll talk.
Might be more
We'll talk, Phil.
might be more effective on the trails than the.
We'll talk.
Yeah,
We remember, we
Well, I
went and
hope
did our
so.
homework up in Lake George.
absolutely.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stanhart?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowit?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes,
Resolution number 100 of 2022, a resolution extending the waiver of permit fees for bars and restaurants to utilize tents and other temporary modifications to allow for outdoor seating.
So moved.
Second.
so, here we are in spring again. We've passed similar legislation, a couple of other instances. Concerns remain with some people regarding dining inside. Some are still very concerned about it. We understand that. We want to make sure that everybody's as comfortable as possible, and at the same time still patronizing our restaurants. And obviously there will be a continuing concern about additional variants that may arise, who knows, over the next year or two. So I think this is a good proactive step to make a commitment to helping our restaurants proactively instead of reactively if more and more people are concerned about dining inside, additional variants, so on and so forth. I just think it's a good proactive measure to put this in place again, this time in 2022. Hopefully, any new variant will be weaker than the last, but at least our restaurants will be able to better respond to the changing conditions by having this very important flexibility. Tom, I think it's very similar to what we passed.
It is,
Prior, right?
it is.
Okay. And actually, there were a couple of the former resolutions in there as well.
Yeah.
All right, discussion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's proactive. I also think it's important to support our restaurants and bars that are still recovering from the last couple of years. So to the extent that this, in addition to being proactive with any potential future variants, allows them to, have a little extra capacity where they're maybe trying to make up ground from the last couple of years financially.
Any further discussion? All right, Teresa.
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 101 of 2022, a resolution accepting dedication of sewer utility easements from the Meadows subdivision along a portion of New York State Route 146.
Second.
All right, Tom, can you talk a little bit about this?
Just a routine conveyance of easements consistent with the subdivision plans of the planning board for this Meadows development by the Barney group.
So this is, this particular area, I mean, this has been approved for a long time.
It's one of the, it goes back to like 08.
Yeah. Thought so. All right, discussion. Questions? All right, Teresa?
Councilwoman Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowitz?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes. Any other business to come before the board? Okay, we'll go to public privilege. If you'd like to speak on the town matter, well, come on up, Darlene. And John and Joanne and Nolan, if he has another subject he'd like to talk about.
I'm happy Joanne's here right now. Hi, Darlene McGraw, I live at 4 North Point, apartment 10S, Half Moon, New York, 12065, so I'm half and half, half Clifton Park, half Moon. I am here to let the board know how I feel about the Chick-fil-A proposed location, how I feel about bike fix-up stations, and parking locations for our bikes, or in my case, a trike. I really would like the town board to have each one of you guys, whether you go with me or go on your own, take a walk from where exit 9 is by the bridge and go take a walk from there and go down 146 and go all the way down the sidewalk there and then go around to where Starbucks is. But you're gonna have to stop because there is gonna be no sidewalk right there by the Jolly Mobile Station. And then you're gonna have to go by where the Pier 1 Imports is, where the sidewalk is very unwell kept. It should be kept, whoever the property owner is, it should still be well kept. And then cross over where Starbucks is, and then you can please let me know how you feel about that location. And I have saw bike fix-up stations where they have a bike work stand where you can put not a trike, but you can put a bike on so that you can pump your bike up with air. It has tools that are attached with like a wire, and people can't steal them or anything because they're attached to the stand, but you can use them still. There's a company, I have paper here, it's called Saris Infrastructure. That's just one company that makes these stands, but there are probably more that do. And those stands are really cool. I have seen them throughout parts of Saratoga County and Malta, around Lake Saratoga Springs. And I'm also asking the town board that if a place has 15 or more parking spaces, to please add a bike rack of some sort or parking spaces for bikes. If you have 15 or more parking spaces for a vehicle, you should have space for a bike. There's no excuse. You can't have a little stand that has a little thing for a bike there. I mean, that's a great excuse, but I mean, If you can have cars, 15 cars, there's not a reason why you can't have a spot for a bike. Because I've gone in many different locations and people like, you ride your bike here? No, duh, yeah, of course I do. So yes, I really would like that. So, like I said, please take a walk over by where this new proposed Chick-fil-A is gonna be. And also, about the bike fix-up stations, the bike racks. And Phil, please think more about the brine because your grounds and highway department does a great job. Please don't give Tom any more hard work to do because, you know, the sidewalks are very bad and all that. You're gonna give Tom a hell of a lot more to work to do and he sits right next to you on the board, so. I would be very careful if you give him too much hard work.
Well, we have
Careful who you sit next to.
good crews that do the best they can to keep the trail safe, you know. You know, I don't have it in front of me, but, the proposal with Chick-fil-A, yeah, maybe we can use some of the grant money for this. What do you think, Joanne?
For the bikes?
Yeah.
Good idea, I'll put it down.
All right.
Add to the list.
So, I know there's some improvements proposed with that. I don't have it in front of me though, so I don't wanna talk too much about it without seeing it. I haven't looked at it in a while, but,
I can also send pictures I have of the bike racks. I can
Yeah.
figure out how to send Teresa the pictures
Yeah.
that I have. I can email them or something to the
Sure.
town.
Sure. So this is Saris Infrastructure?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now this is for any bike, right? Not just trucks, this is for.
These are, those workstations are for bicycles.
Yeah.
It says put up, not trikes, but you can put a bike up there, but the workstation are for, you know, you can use them to fix any type of bike.
Right, right. I know we have greatly increased the number of bike racks over the years. I'm sure there's still places where they would be of good use, but I'll get with Jen Vigiani tomorrow on that.
There's many places over, like, by the mall and stuff like that, but I mean, they're not very well, like, you gotta, like, really look for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't even have signage, like, this is where it is, this is where, I'm like, so I'm taking up a parking space, and I don't have to take up a parking space if there was a bike rack that I actually saw.
Did you ride here tonight?
I did.
You did. Okay.
And I mean, sometimes people have these bike racks and are sitting right next to like these tables where like you smoke. Like at Hannaford and stuff, they have them. The bike rack there is right by where they smoke outside to take their smoke break. I'm like,
No.
I don't want my bike to sit where.
Hmm.
I'm like, why is that allowed here in our town? I mean,
It
we're
says the
supposed to
smoke.
be green. But I don't want to be smelling smoke and stuff, you know, but.
No, I hear
I
it.
think a lot of times the planning board will require bike racks as part of new projects.
Yeah, they have.
I think they were, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a question for the fix-it stations, where did we get those, or which, was that Parks and Rec, or? was
To fix it, that
bike.
Darlene's
Yeah,
mentioned?
yeah.
I don't think we have any of those now.
With the commons.
There's one at the
Oh, we
common,
have
there's
one.
a Girl Scout project.
Oh, it was a Girl
I don't
Scout.
know where
that's
they got it
right.
from, but
Yeah.
That's right.
it's right over by soccer.
Yeah.
But I don't know where they got it from. We helped them put it up, but it was a Girl Scout project.
Oh, that's right.
I can get you that information, Dan. I have that.
Yeah, I've seen that, okay.
It is-
Cool.
Oh, okay.
All right. Thank you, Darlene. Joanne, John, Nolan?
Before adjourn, I'd like to invite everyone here to please come up front and have a Cookie Factory cookie and wish the Councilwoman Flood a happy birthday.
Aw, thank
you.
Yeah.
And I would like to then make a motion to adjourn so we can do that.
Cookie adjournment. Do we have a second? You can't second.
Councilwoman
Thank
Flood.
you.
Oh my gosh.
Councilwoman Fletcher.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanders.
Yes.
Councilman Morales.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallace.
Thank you.
See ya.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Everyone, I'm gonna take one.
You want to keep that look at?
Oh, that's
Sure.
Okay.